When we talk about anti-aging, we talk a lot about this stuff, Botox and fillers, but that's not the topic today. I'm here at the Institute of Anti-Aging. Dr. Laconi is here. We're walking into a treatment room. What is happening? This is one of the latest and greatest procedures that you guys are doing right now. You're absolutely right. This is kind of taking the aesthetic world by storm. And what it is, it's a technique that allows you to get some of the same results that would have required like a high downtime CO2 laser treatment, toning the skin, texturing the skin, tightening the skin, improving the overall quality and glow. And it's a procedure that only needs one day, if any. It's almost painless, it's very comfortable, and it's simple, but it's called microneedling. Okay, and it begins actually with a blood draw, right? That's correct, because we have an enhancement to microneedling that uses something called PRP, which is a restorative fraction of your own blood. We all have it. And all we need to do is extract it from the blood. Microneedling, it's one thing that everybody's talking about. It's kind of on my list. We're gonna let this blood spin for about 10 minutes and then see how this procedure begins. So what we're doing here is we're extracting the platelet-rich plasma, a part of the blood that contains tiny little cells called platelets. Platelets are what arrive on scene at an injury and initiate the healing process. So we've learned that by applying this plasma full of platelets to the skin just before we create those little micro injuries, little micro channels, it accentuates the healing process. And this is the microneedling. This is the micro pen, and what it's doing as it vibrates, and you can hear that, little tiny tips are making micro punctures. And that allows the plasma to channel into the skin and begin the healing process. So it's gonna trigger more collagen, cellular healing, more hyaluronin. It plumps the skin, tightens the skin. And so when you send your body this message that your skin has these little tiny micro injuries, everything pours out into the blood and heads here to do the job of fixing things. And you see that she's red now. Makes a little redness. It kind of gets a little redder as the time goes by. But it's actually pretty comfortable. Most people will tell you don't even really need the cream, but we applied the cream before we did this, and then we wiped it off just before we started. Probably one of the best treatments right now for somebody who wants overall skin texture and tone. Absolutely. And you know, this has a nice niche in this thing because, you know, this does a lot of the things that an invasive CO2 laser, which we do here, but this is, you know, one day of downtime instead of 5 or 6. Virtually no discomfort as opposed to a CO2 laser. Okay, if you're in the mood and you need a deep cleansing facial and you have no time for downtime, this is the procedure that you want, Hydrafacial. And Natalie is in the process right now. Talk to us about what you're doing.
So we pre-cleansed her face before I started this, and this is step 1 of the Hydrafacial. This is the exfoliation process. So it's gonna start prepping the skin for the next steps.
And Elle Magazine has voted this procedure the #1 procedure to do on your wedding day. How come? Because it's making the skin basically glow.
Yes, it's exfoliating so you have a nice smooth surface, but it's also giving you a nice hydration and a nice glow so that your makeup goes on more smoothly.
And people worry about downtime, and you said this is something that can be done on the lunchtime, right?
Yes, ma'am. It takes about 25 minutes. You'll be a little flushed afterwards. Kind of think about what your skin would look like after taking a hot shower. And then it calms down about 20-30 minutes. And you can apply makeup. We do recommend usually waiting a few hours, just to kind of let your skin breathe since we get all that nastiness out.
Who is this good for? What age?
We recommend all skin types, all ages, usually about 16 and up. You can do male, female. You cannot do this if you are pregnant or breastfeeding because it does have the salicylic acid, but besides that. And I do have a lot of gentlemen, if they get the folliculitis, which is the inflammation of the hair follicles, they really like this because it helps with the exfoliation. So this right here is that light glycolic with the salicylic. And with this step, after I apply it to the skin, we do let it sit. For my patients that have a lot of congestion or they're super oily or that real thick skin, we do have upgraded glycolics. There's a 15% and a 30. We also have the growth factor booster that we can add
And how often can you do this?
We recommend it once a month. I do have a few patients that do it every other week because they have a little bit more congestion and they like that nice glow, but recommended once a month.